So I haven't shared my faith in over 40 years when I was with Campus Crusade for Christ. Nevertheless, one of the pieces of wisdom that stuck with me for witnessing and sharing your faith was successful witnessing is sharing your faith in the power of the Holy Spirit and leaving the results up to God. And one of the things I knew right away today at the mall was that was to have zero expectations. That is, zero expectations of yourself, but great expectations of God. He always seems to surprise. So with the right attitude, went to the mall today. And the first guy that I talked to was a Native American who was not very open. I asked him where he was from, and he said Farmington. I said, what is your greatest fear? And he said, no, I don't have any fears. I don't worry about things I can't control, which is great wisdom. And so I asked him if he was familiar with the Serenity Prayer, and he said no. I asked him if he believed in God. He said, I think he said not necessarily. So that wasn't a stellar visit, but nevertheless, seeds were planted. And then there was the second guy. Went up to him. He was sitting in one of those easy massage chairs. And I said, hi, my name is Steve, and I do YouTube videos. Can I ask you a question? And he kind of said, go for it. And so I asked him what his greatest fear was. And he asked me if I was a Mormon or a Jehovah's Witness or what have you. I said, no to all of those. In hindsight, of course, there's always hindsight when you're sharing your faith. I wish I would have said that I'm just someone who has a great desire to please God. But again, it's been many years. And then we, Darren and I, we walked around the upper level of Coronado Center, and we looked down on the food court. And I noticed a young man there eating by himself and kind of contemplating. I asked Darren if he wanted to go see if there was some fruit to be had there. So we went down, and I introduced myself again. I told him I did YouTube videos. Would he mind if I recorded a conversation with him? And to my delight and surprise, he said yes. And here is that conversation. That's going to take 2 videos, this one and another one. So here we go. All right, so here's a $40 million question.
Yeah.
I don't know you from Adam. What is your name?
My name is Michael.
Michael?
All right.
He's a comedian. He really is a comedian.
Really?
He's Darren. And yeah. And there's a lot of barriers today in today's society. I'm sure you've noticed.
Right.
And there's a lot of small talk. Like, how are you? You know, what's your name? What do you do? Where does that get us? So I follow this guy named Jamie Winship, and he suggests a different model. Let me ask you, what is your greatest fear?
My greatest fear?
Yeah, on a daily, ongoing basis, is there a greatest fear that you have?
Yeah, I would say my greatest fear is not being able to support myself financially.
Oh, man.
Or emotionally.
Yes.
You know, like, I just always try to think, like, about it,
Yes, I know. I do.
Crazy.
You know why I know? Because I have worried about things. There has been things in my life. Granted, you're probably, 20 years old?
Well, I'm 18, actually.
18.
Yeah.
So I was 18 once, but I was 18, in 1978. But I, for a long time, carried a lot of worry. And you and I, we both see the world falling apart. People fighting each other, wars, and so forth. And and I'm not saying this would work for you, but how I manage those fears is I just go to God in prayer, and I open the Bible, and the Bible is full of promises. How do you manage your fears?
I don't. I just try creating it, just leave it be. Not think about it.
So you haven't found a way to really face them, you just try not to think about it. And that's